Hey guys, welcome to this December 9th, 2019 Topics on My Mind video. It is Monday, of course, and we are, I believe, 16 days away from Christmas. So, pretty awesome on that part. And I believe 22 days away from New Year's Eve, which means we're 23 days away from 2020. Now, I'm here to, of course, with this Topics on My Mind video, to talk about a variety of topics that people have been talking about, been in the news. So, with that said, and I do apologize if there's any pauses going on here and there, like quick pauses and stuff. You know, I got cars going back and forth, and it's kind of hard to do videos, especially when you have people wanting to be jerks/trolls, and basically when they see you doing a video or something, they like to honk the horns or roll down the window and yell out the window while they're driving. So anyway, hopefully that doesn't happen, but let's talk about a variety of topics here, shall we, that have been discussed recently. In fact, one of them is currently going on right now in Washington and has to deal with the future of our country, if not the future of our current president himself. Okay, so yeah, sorry about that, but anyway, let's talk about these variety of topics. So like I said, the first one has to deal with what's currently going on in Washington right now. It has to deal with the future of our country, as well as mostly is the future of our current president. Okay, so the first topic here, in case you guys don't know, and I'm pretty sure you do because it's been all over the news, as well as on YouTube, here on YouTube I should say, through the various news channels that they have, as well as, you know, the news apps and everything, and that of course is the impeachment situation, the impeachment trial, the impeachment inquiry, whatever you want to call it. Basically, right now as we speak, Democrats are doing what they can, coming up with evidence, coming up with reasonings and all that, for Donald Trump to be impeached as president. Now, as we speak, if not already, if not later on, like I said, if not already, if not currently, or even later on today, according to various news outlets, the Democrats plan to show evidence, more evidence, if not better evidence, if not, you know, more legit evidence, whatever you want to call it, or the evidence that's really needed to prove that Trump has done certain things, you know, during his campaign to become president, that he's done certain things during his time as president, and, you know, even before that, like I said, during his campaign, currently during his reign as president, stuff like that, that would be enough to get him out of office. In fact, one Democrat basically said that they want to basically send a message to Trump that he is a president, not a monarch. In other words, one of the Democrats basically in Congress / the Senate, basically feels that Trump looks at himself, views himself as king and not a president that's working for the people. So, yeah, like I said, currently, if not already or later on, they plan to put out evidence. Like I say, they plan to put out evidence or show evidence that's hopefully more than enough to really start quickening, that's the word I'm looking for, quickening the process. But like I said, they're hoping that the evidence they show today, which is, like I said, is the evidence they hope is the one that's needed or they feel is needed, or believe is needed, they're hoping that that's enough to start quickening, or quickly start, or what's the word I'm looking for? As I said, to try to start to quicken the process of the impeachment. In other words, they feel that if this is the evidence they need, to quicken the start process, or the beginning process of the impeachment, then they're going to do what they can. Now, of course, according to news outlets, the Republicans are ready to counter, basically show that whatever evidence or whatever proof the Democrats have is not true, and that there is no evidence, that there is no such things, or no such things, or nothing like what the Democrats are saying is true or valid. Republicans, like I said, they're ready to counter with what they have, and so it's kind of an interesting. I guess you could say if you're interested in the future of our country, and if not interested in the future of our current president, this is something to, I guess, kind of keep an eye on occasions to see what the next step they're going to take could be. Like I said, what the next step they're gonna take could be. I mean, even Trump's like, look, if you're gonna get this done, let's make it fast. Let's quicken the pace. Because, Trump being who he is, he feels, just like the Republicans do, a majority of them, as well as even those that support or may not support Trump, they basically feel that, look, they may feel that, look, there's nothing really out there that supports whatever claims you have. Like I said, some will come, they'll basically say, hey, that, there's no, real evidence or evidence that support the claims you have. And some are even looking at it like, why are you doing this now when pretty much the 2020 election campaign is on the way? Why are you doing this now? Why don't you just, put it on the shelf indefinitely and wait and see what the election results are? And, that's a good point. That's a good point people could be making. Like I said, that's a good point people could be making. Even, like I said, even those that may or may not like Trump, that's a good point when you think about it, because there's a lot of them that will point out that, point out the dumbness behind this, and say, basically, why don't you just let the election play out and see what the people have to say? And like I said, see what the people have to say. And there are some that will agree upon that. And even if you mention that to news outlets that are covering this, and even some, like Republicans or even some Democrats or independents, they may all agree too. But some may say, in my opinion, some may counter by saying that, yeah, that's a good point. Why don't you let the election go through the way it should and see what happens? But others may say that even though they could do that, shelve this impeachment thing indefinitely and just let the election, solve the problem. Let the people vote who they want in office. Like I said, they could, in my opinion, counter by saying, look, that is a good idea. Why don't we just shelve the impeachment process and just let the election, do its thing and see what the people say. But unfortunately, I think, in my opinion, and others may agree with this, I think even some people in Congress on all three sides, if you will, that being Republican, Democrat, and Independent, there are some that would say, let's, some may, like I said, say that that's a good idea, but they would counter by saying that the reason Democrats are doing this now is they're afraid that Trump will win re-election, I should say. That's why they're in the process of doing this now. They want to stop Trump from getting that re-election. That's what they fear. That's what they fear. And that might be a good reasoning. I mean, when you really think about it, when you get straight down to it, maybe that's why they're doing this. You think that if they wanted to get Trump out of office, as badly as they want, as badly as they're trying to get him out now, they would have done it a long time ago. They would have done it in his first year or his second year as president. But no, they're doing it close to re-election time or during re-election time, to the point that some of their representatives running for president have to step away from their campaigns to be part of this. And basically, some would say that even though, the Democrats may have legit reasonings, may have some hard evidence that is enough to try to get Trump out, like I said, it would be enough to try to get Trump out, that the real reasoning is fear that if they don't do this now, he's going to win re-election, and they don't want to deal with another 4 years of this guy in the Oval Office. So, some may look at it like that, and that is actually, when you think about it, probably the truth of the whole thing, probably the truth of the matter, that it's fear, that they're afraid that if they don't do something now, he's going to get re-elected, and they don't want that. So, yeah, even though it sounded like I rambled a little bit, this whole impeachment thing is something that, even if you don't pay attention that much to the news, is something that maybe you should keep an eye on every now and then, because it's interesting. It is kind of interesting, but more importantly, it's something that has to do with the future of our country and the future of our president, whether you like him or you don't. And, like I said, whether you like him or you don't, it is something that, like I said, once in a while you need to keep an eye on, because you don't know what the next step is going to be that they will take. So, sorry if I rambled a little bit on this first topic. I was a little distracted with the cars going back and forth. But now let's get on to a second topic here. Alright, the next topic I want to talk about is something that, according to Rich or Review Tech USA, YouTube's actually been in the process of doing since September, but it really hasn't come to the forefront. Really hasn't, as I'm trying to say, come to the forefront until recently. And that is the fact that YouTube, as far as content creators and maybe some non-monetizing content creators, those that don't make money on the channel like I do, what's the word I'm looking for? Are actually kind of happy to hear. Now, we all know about the COPPA thing. I've talked about it. Rich has talked about it. Variety of others like Bob's Show, Rob Thomas has talked about it. Even his girlfriend Raven Fox has talked about it. A lot of others like Pixel Dan has talked about it. Many have come out and talked about this whole COPPA situation. Now, in response to that, like I said, Rich mentioned that back in September, YouTube started to toy with this situation, and it wasn't until recently that the CEO of YouTube came out and kind of backed up this whole rumor or breaking news or interesting news, if you will. And that is, in response to what's happened, YouTube is considering, if not is allowing, more mature, edgier content to be displayed on their site, as far as content creators that make money off their channels, and even those that don't. The reason being, basically, is, as Rich points out, or in his own way points out, is due to the fact that YouTube got sued by the FTC for $175 million in damages for, doing what they did, gathering data on kids and all that for advertisements and stuff. So, from what Rich can probably tell, basically as a content creator, if you will, usually if you see the dollar sign in yellow, that's not really a good sign. Like I was saying, as Rich pointed out, if you see a yellow dollar sign next to your video, it means you're making money, but it's not the kind of money you want to make. You're making, like, as he puts it, 2 to 3 cents, maybe 5 cents a video, for that video, or 5 cents a view. Which, like I said, which to him is not, not as good as seeing a green dollar sign in front of your video, because a green dollar sign basically says, hey, you can make some money here, some real good money. So yeah, according to Rich, if you see, like I say, a yellow dollar sign instead of a green one, that's, you're making money, but not the kind of money you want to make. So basically what he's saying is, like I said, with this confirmation by this YouTube CEO, that basically the more mature, edgier content talk that's been thrown around, mentioned on Content Creators Corner on YouTube, is legit. And for him, this is good news, because he likes to make edgier content. He likes to have more mature, edgier content on his channel. It's what he used to have before the whole YouTube ad apocalypse of a couple years ago. So hearing this, he's actually glad about it, because that means he gets more revenue. He gets more money brought into his videos. Now, as far as non-monetizing content creators, those that don't make money off their channels, like I don't. I could, but I don't. This is good news as well, because there are sometimes we feel, well, is this content going to be taken off? Is it going to be, is it going to be demonetized? Is it going to be taken off? Am I going to get a copyright strike? Stuff like that. So, hopefully, the same goes for the non-monetizing channels like mine. Well, we'll be allowed to at least put some more edgier content on the channel. And even if it is a bit of a copyright, hey, maybe it'll be something that might get some attraction, for the advertisers of, let's say, PG-13 R-rated films. Who knows? But yeah, YouTube apparently is going to implement a more edgier, is going to give a little bit more freedom, I should say, to content creators, and allow them to have more edgier, if not mature content that can draw in more revenue. And, as some would say, as Rich even pointed out, the reasoning behind it is because of what happened with YouTube and the whole COPPA situation with the FTC. So that's good. It's good news, and let's see what comes of it. All right, last thing we're going to talk about. So last thing we're going to talk about actually has to do with what's going on right now, and that is weather situations. Real quickly, a couple days ago, my mom was going to work, and it was foggy. Not, it's kind of not like this, even though it's rolling back in, you could see that. But it was foggy enough to where she was considering turning around and coming home. Instead, what she did is she called her boss up and said, look, I'm going to be a little late, because she's a preschool teacher. And her boss understood, because look, it's thick, it's foggy, she's not going to take a chance. So here's the thing. It's more of a topic question than just a regular topic. But do you think, in weather like this, if somebody lives, let's say, an hour and 20 minutes away, basically 80 minutes away, if you will, if someone lives about, 80 minutes away, because my mom at times has to leave around 5:25 or 6:25 in the morning, depending on when she goes in. Because like today, she goes in at 7:30. or 7:30, but 8 o'clock. Other days she goes in at 7:15. So the question is, if it's foggy and all that and undrivable, do you think the employers should give the employees a call and say, look, it's foggy out there, I don't want you to take a chance, stay home, we'll give you PTO for it? Do you think perhaps employers should do that for any job? Because honestly, I believe they should. It would not only keep the person still, not only would it allow the person that's not going to be able to be there, not only would it allow them to still get paid, but it would also be looking out for the safety as well. But what do you guys think? Do you think employers should do that, especially if their employees live about an hour and a half away? What do you guys think about that? Do you think it should be something they consider? I think it is. But what do you guys think? And that, guys, is going to do it for today's Topics on My Mind video. Hope you guys all liked it and enjoyed it. Like I said, I hope you guys all liked it and enjoyed it. And let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. And I'll talk to you later. I gotta get into work now.